Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Ashley Harwood. Today we're going to be talking about creativity. And none of this content is my own. These are my notes from a conference that I just came back from late last night in Orlando. It's called Elevate. They do this conference every year. It's amazing. It's really small though, so it does sell out quickly. And one of the speakers, her name is Deanna something very long in Italian, and I'll put the name in the notes on YouTube. So I don't know how to pronounce it. Um, but she was one of the speakers at this conference, and I took a lot of notes. And she is an animator with Pixar, and she's worked on all these Pixar films, none of which I have seen because I don't have kids, but everyone else seems to love them, and they are very, very popular. One of them was, oh my God, of course I'm blanking. What's the one with the feelings that are personified? I might need some.
Inside Out.
Inside Out, yes. She worked on that one and she talked a lot about creating the process of creating what the character of anxiety will look like. So it was very fascinating. And one of the things I love about this conference is it's a lot of not just real estate information, it's more life and motivation and coming at things from a different lens. So a lot of the speakers were not in the real estate industry. So it was really interesting to get different perspectives. And Deanna talked all about creativity. So I have 7 bullet points and I will not go through them super slowly. So we'll kind of go quickly here. Um, and why don't we do this? Why don't I run through a quick overview of each of them and then we can talk through the ones that stood out. Let's do that. All right. So again, none of this is my content. This is all Deanna's brilliance. First, a brilliant idea can come at any time in any form. Second, creativity is a choice and a practice, and it's important to calibrate yourself for creativity. Number 3, practice listening to intuition. Number 4, there's a difference between giving up and letting go. That was a big one. When you let go, there's a result. You just might not be sure how to get there, what the path looks like. And giving up, there's no result. Number 5, embracing limitations equals freedom. And I drew an arrow to limitations and I wrote boundaries. Number 6, curiosity is also a practice. And curating that practice of observation, observing the world around us. And lastly, number 7, get quiet to hear your intuition. That's my favorite one because I talk about this a lot in my materials and my classes. And it's really important to protect that space and to carve out that time to let your brain rest. Because if we are just go, go, go all the time, we don't have any space to listen to our intuition. We have no space to think through things or be creative or any of it. We're just like nose to the grind. So those are my 7 ahas from this one session. There was a lot in there. Um, and one of the biggest things, and I shared this with her after I had a chance to meet her and take a picture. The biggest thing for me is I've always told myself that I'm not creative because I've always been in the business world and I don't really have any creative hobbies or outlets. I don't paint. I don't make stained glass. I don't do any of that. I've always had this dialogue that I'm not a creative person. And I was okay with that. And then I'm sitting there listening to this woman speak, and I'm like, maybe that's not the best thing to be saying to myself. Maybe I should say, I am creative. Creativity doesn't have to look like art, though. It can look like creativity in business. And I am creative in my business. I just never put those two things together. So it was really interesting for me to think about how I associate with that word.
I would say you have to be creative to write a book. So there you go.
That is true. That's a good point. That is true. Thank you. All right. So enough of me talking. Thoughts. Initial thoughts on this topic. What's coming up for you guys?
Well, I would agree with Patty. You have to be pretty creative to write a book. But I do resonate with you need to be quiet to hear your intuition. Did I write that down right?
Yep.
Because, and I do write my affirmations. Uh, that was really, timing was perfect for that because I recently bought Julia Cameron's book, the 3 pages where you write 3 pages every morning.
Okay.
And your book I started last night too, and is awesome.
Thank you.
Um, but I tell myself all the time, you don't have a creative bone in your body, and I'm craving it. I'm craving it, whether it's gardening or something. I really need some sort of a creative outlet right now, something. So I'm searching for that.
Is gardening the thing that is most appealing to you, or is that just the first example that comes to mind?
Well, it's just the first. Unfortunately, I feel like a kid. There's a number of things. I'm a knitter. I haven't knit anything in a long time. Um, but gardening, yes, particularly since my house looks like a foreclosure right now. So my yard.
I would say that it's a good thing to have, I'm going to use air quotes, too many options that interest you. Because I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum. I have zero. I can't think of anything that, aside from writing more books, which probably is going to happen. Um, so that's a good thing. So you have
Yeah.
options. I love that. So now I have to get into coach mode for a second. What action are you going to take around it?
Hmm. Well, my husband's going to be gone Saturday, so and unfortunately, I don't have any buyers right now. I will have some time. I have and actually time blocked some time to work in my yard on Saturday, so that'll be good.
That's great.
Yeah.
What a gift.
Yes, I'm very lucky right now.
That's good. That's good.
I hope the weather cooperates for you, Wendy.
Yes, me too. Me too.
I feel like my time blocking of my garden, if I try to do that, it's going to rain on me. But I'm in Florida. Not that we have any rain. We haven't had any, but
Don't you guys normally get a little thunderstorm like every day and it lasts for 10 minutes?
that's what it normally has been. But the last couple of years, we're not seeing that at all. It's been so dry here. It's sad. Yeah, it's like we can't even use our irrigation except one day a week. It's down to now in this county
Oh,
because of
wow.
the yeah
Oh no.
yeah so dry.
So Patty, what is coming up for you? I'm gonna pick on you. I'm sorry. Tell me if you don't want to be picked on, but what's
No,
coming up
I
for
don't
you
mind.
around this conversation?
I was just think it's so funny. I feel like I saw James's post with his picture with her, and and she reminds me of a good friend of mine, Carrie Bell. Definitely, like they've just been born out of the 50s with their my Carrie Bell is red hair with the red lipsticks and super creative, like an artist. Okay, makes frames and everything else that you can think of. So I was like, oh my gosh, those two would be fast friends. Is what came to me first. But what I thought about was like I would have loved to have heard her speak. So I was just thankful that you were there to give us what your ahas were. So I thought that was really because I thought, wow, I bet she was super interesting, especially talking about anxiety because we all have it, right? And I think I don't think we all have it, but I battle it, quite a bit here and there. I feel like I'm more in control these days, but and kind of letting go and letting a lot of Mel Robbins podcasts have helped me with that, with the let them theory and all that. But yeah, I was just thankful that you were there to share a little bit of what she had to say. I thought that was pretty cool.
I do think that everyone experiences anxiety in some situations at some level. It's just a very normal human. I would put it in the same category as happiness and sadness and stress and joy, and they're all just, yeah.
Well, I was really impressed. I want to know the truth with James sharing that with us one day on one of the calls. When I try to be pretty regular with the pivot calls, and him sharing that he literally just had to kind of shut down because I think probably more so men than women probably don't share that kind of stuff, and it makes you, because you look at him and you think, wow, he's got it all together. He's on this call every day, and some of us are like me, are like, I'm trying to keep my eyes open, because I'm not ready for peopling at that time of the morning. And so it's really good to know that, I think we just need to talk more about it. I think that's what's not being done. We just need to talk more about it. And it's great to hear ways. That's why the reason I love what you're doing, because, I've always felt like an introvert, although I can obviously speak in front of people. I'm doing it now, but I've always felt like I've kind of been held back from really doing sales because of that. And I'm kind of relaunching myself right now. So I'm excited that I have people along with me.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you a little encouragement. Introverts actually make the best salespeople,
Really?
the agents. Yes.
And why do you say that?
There's a whole chapter in the book about it, but in a nutshell, it is because we're really great listeners and we build deep relationships. And that's what makes a really great real estate agent and
Well,
salesperson in general.
yeah, that is what they tell us all the time, right? Listen, try to keep your mouth.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
extroverts are good at that too. It just usually comes more naturally to us. That's how we're wired. So we have this advantage. We got to just know that and then use it and build up that internal confidence.
Exciting. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Judy, hi.
Hi, good afternoon, or rather, good morning. It is 10 a.m. here in San Diego, California. So, um, I'm not exactly camera ready today.
You're good. Can you move
Um,
your camera down just a little bit though? Because we're seeing like this much of your face.
yeah, okay,
That's better. Hi.
yeah. Hi there. So, I do think that we introverts are blessed to have the ability to really tune in to the vibe, like the feelings, all of those things, and almost kind of anticipate um how the conversation's going to go potentially, because you're able to you know what is that word that I'm looking for, um just sense. I think we've got a little bit of a superpower in that we're able to kind of sense the feeling or
Intuition, maybe?
intuition. Thank you. Yes. Yep. 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 And there's another word too, but I can't think of it. But yes, thank you for chiming in, Patty. Yeah. So thank you.
Are you talking about being an empath too?
Yes, that's where I was going. That's exactly where I was going. Completely. That is exactly the word I was thinking of, and I couldn't get it out. So yeah, because I'm there. And so I was so bummed I missed Elevate. I've never been to one of James' events. I'm going to his advance. I have registered for that in November. But it's everyone that went to Elevate this year Oh, they just said all super beautiful things. I mean, they always do. I think this one just these events keep getting better and better from what I hear. Yeah. So that's so cool that you went, Ashley.
It was a really great experience. I felt very fortunate to be there, not only as a guest, but to be given a little bit of time on stage. It was just amazing, the whole thing. So, um, but yeah, I think a lot of introverts are also empaths, even though they are two distinct things. There's a lot of overlap there. And so that makes us, that's another notch in our belt for why we make great agents, because we can sense how somebody's feeling. And as long as we're able to make that connection between sensing it and verbalizing it in a way that makes them feel safe, that's really powerful. So an example I just thought of was, um, if you can sense your client, either a buyer or a seller, is they're holding something back, they're not telling you the full story, or they're feeling not great about the transaction, maybe just stop and ask, it feels like there's something that's a little off, or it feels like maybe there's something that's bothering you. Let's talk it out. What's going on? And just open up that space for them. And that takes a lot of courage to do. Um, but it's really powerful when that happens, because then they feel seen and heard. And then that trust level goes from wherever it was to up here. Good point. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah. All right. Well, I won't keep you guys too long. Any other thoughts on this topic of creativity and how this might show up in business or just life in general? All right, cool. Let me stop the recording. Thanks, everyone.